When Charleston Mivogenubo Eguridu assumed office as the head of National Office of WAEC Nigeria in October 2012, little did he know that the events of his childhood had set him at a pedestal far beyond the imaginations of men and even himself.
Well, I came from a very humble home. My mother left my dad when I was about 9 years old. So I grew up without full knowledge of what maternal care was all about. Really, my father was a very caring man. He had to nurture me. I was in and out of school due to sickness. It wasn't quite easy for me in those early days.
Despite the obvious challenges before him as the head of National Office of WAEC Nigeria, Eguridu stood firm on his belief and determination to make a difference in his generation.
The experience was quite challenging. In WAEC, as an organization, you will find a lot of challenges conducting examinations, traveling the length and breadth of the country gives you an experience.
Eguridu is an achiever and a patriot with an excellent work ethic, wisdom, great moral values, and an unflinching love for God.
I am what God has made me to be. I am not exceptional. Whatever I am today is by the grace of God. My motivation is just simple, to do God's will. When I took on this job, I had a mandate from God to do His will.
His scorecard as the head of National Office is unprecedented in the history of the council in Nigeria.
I really don't want to list achievements because what was achieved during my tenure was not done single-handedly. I want to give credit to my colleagues with whom I worked, that we were able to conduct examinations leakage-free to the glory of God. It was not my singular effort. It was due to the cooperation I received from all the WAEC staff and the service providers and the Nigerian public.
Charles Eguridu's leadership qualities is something to emulate, as evident in his relationship with his colleagues during his time at the council. And according to him, he will forever be grateful to everyone who contributed in no small way in making his time at the council a memorable one.
But as to why I served 30 years, I really cannot say. I wasn't looking out for another job. Perhaps if I did, I would have been able to get one. I just want to give credit to quite a few of my friends. I think the registrar, Dr. Wadia, we joined WAEC the same day. He was quite supportive, even though at times I bully him to submission. But he will just smile and take it the way it is. I can recall also quite a number of people. Mr. I.S. Omoya, who happened to be Director of Works. I want to give him credit because he called me and gave me what I would regard as a refined blueprint on how to go about it. I also recall my colleague, Mr. Osinze, who also has retired, Mr. S.B. Taiwo, Director of Administration, Mrs. A.A. Ajibade, one we call a professor, Mrs. Oyeduton, even though she has retired, held me by my hand to Abuja and introduced me to key officials in government. Mrs. Ojeleye, the current Director of Finance, was also very instrumental and supportive. And virtually all the branch and zonal coordinators, I met them on ground coming all the way from Accra. And of course, the faceless WAEC staff in the branch and zonal offices, whose names I may not even know, but who by reason of their dedication, their support, their prayers, were very, very supportive.
There is this maxim that says, behind every successful man, there is a woman, and Charles is not an exception. With a lovely and beautiful wife who has stood by him for 28 years through thick and thin, there is nothing more he could have asked for in life.
My wife was very, very supportive. She was there for me all the time, prayerfully, counseling me. When I want to overreact, she will be the one to talk to
My husband, as he's rightly called, Charles Eguridu, is a man of principle. He's hardworking. That name given to him, Charles, it works for him. He's a strong man. He's a loving father.
I found myself guided by a beautiful woman committed children, and of course my junior brother, Felix, and his wife were very, very, very supportive.
There is no doubt that Eguridu has touched lives in all ramifications during his time at the council. However, he has this word of advice to all the staffs of the West African Examinations Council.
You know, staff of WAEC that are still serving is first to recognize that the life of a man does not consist in the abundance of his possessions. Don't go out there to make money, because money is not a product of hard work. It is a gift from God. Your integrity is like a glassware. When you break it, no matter the amount of super glue you use to fixing it together, it cannot be the same again. The scripture says in 2 Corinthians 4:17 that the light afflictions which we suffer now, they are working for us a far more exceeding weight of glory, because the things that are seen are temporal, but the things that are not seen are eternal. So once you have those scriptures at the back of your mind, you know that whatever affliction you are passing through now, in the job, at home, or wherever you are, they are for a moment. But what I would just want to tell Olu right here and now is that there is no second opportunity for making a first impression. Define your goals. Keep to those goals. Attain them and move on. Because if you strive to please man, you will end up displeasing everybody. Please God, please yourself and your conscience, and move on. I want to advocate, and I will continue to advocate, that the WAEC info box should be sustained, no matter how tight-laced our budget may be. Because when you do good, you don't take credit for it, nobody even appreciates you. So WAEC info box is a platform that gives WAEC ample opportunity to explain itself to its stakeholders. And no amount of money can be too much to explain yourself. And I want to say that so far so good, the WAEC info box has opened up WAEC to the Nigerian people. The level of negative criticisms that we have been receiving has diminished and almost disappeared. So I will advise the new administration to do whatever is necessary to ensure they sustain this innovation. That's my parting words.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Charles Eguridu.